Welcome to Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play D&D show set in our homebrew world of Origin. Our music is licensed through Musicbed.com. Occasionally we do some stuff with Syrinscape and occasionally TabletopAudio, but mostly Musicbed. I'm going to turn it over to Stefan to tell us about our partners.
Thanks, Sean. As we always say here in Paradise, we would be nothing without our lovely partners. Such amazing groups like Underground Oracle Publishing, who is a TTRPG publisher, creating new worlds in the Cypher system and beyond. Their current focus is Foxfire, a science fiction tabletop RPG with a strong emphasis on high adventure and fun full throttle action where you play as anthropomorphic animals who left Earth behind long ago to take their place among the stars. For as little as $3 a month, you can become a member through their website and gain early access to this developing TTRPG and the worlds they create. Next up, we have Eddie Yorke. He is our character artist. You saw his art at our wait screen and in the corner of all our little boxes. He's an illustrator based in the United Kingdom who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. And then we've got 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for D&D and other tabletop role-playing games. Sean used their NPC cards to create wonderful, invocative characters for us to interact with, but he's used them all up, so let's get Series 3 out there. In the meantime, you can use the code paradiceprod, that's PARADICEPROD, for 10% off your entire order at checkout. We've got some recaps and VODs on our Discord and YouTube. They're not up to date at the moment, but they will be soon enough. In the meantime, you can join us on Bluesky, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok to get in touch with us and see some of the stuff we're up to. It's not much, but if you come in the Discord and post something, I'll respond within a few minutes, if not hours. In the meantime, everyone, Audacity.
All right, let's jump into our recap and hope Mike doesn't come on and burp immediately. Alrighty.
He didn't mute his mic again.
That's okay. I'm actually just gonna mute him. Just in case. Last we left off, our adventurers completed their downtime activities and research and whatnot. They entered into the next month, the Wild Shadow, or in the previous month, and it was starting to get quite cold. Jacques continued to bard around town and establish his establishment, or really finish the leveling up of his establishment. But primarily what he was doing was utilizing the MCDM establishment's gather intel ability. So he was utilizing Reardon, one of our NPCs, as sort of a spy master with his team within his establishment. He specifically spied on the Syndicate and later on in the downtime, the Aradunai. What he learned about the Syndicate, which is Mr. Greaves' underground organization, is that it is being run by a drow woman only known as Orkwood, who is sort of was the second in command under Mr. Greaves, but now is in charge of the Syndicate, as Mr. Greaves is going legitimate, as they say. But also learned that they are disrupting the construction of the Asia rail line, connecting the capital lands of the Alpha Islands to Asia and Hyvin. The reason for this, he learned, is that they're trying to humiliate Commodore Umadori, trying to show that she can't control her territory, to better position Mr. Greaves as a replacement in the coming election. This election, which the Commodore's office is pushing off as much as they can to try to recoup that reputation, and figure out how to deal with Mr. Greaves, who is trying to push the election upward so that he can become Commodore before the new year. We're about a month and a half or so, a month and change from that new year by the end of this downtime. Fyrn begins to develop his adventuring guild within his currently being constructed fort. He has acquired himself a few bright, aspiring adventurers that he starts to train and put on little adventures, little minor jobs to start to drum up business as well as give them experience. During this time, Bruce is reverse engineering the bunkos apparatus, the gun and sword that they had found earlier in their adventures, to create something new for Jacquette. Septimus proselytizes to the lay folk and the lower and middle classes of Hyvin to try to drum up some attention for his church. He sees some success amongst the lower class particularly. Jacquette completes his establishment as we round out the downtime, and he learns that the Aradunai have Fiora Bendega, the people's bard, in captivity. Now, the adventuring party had entered into some sort of accord with Fiora back in Stony Heath that they ultimately betrayed her in the end. And she is being imprisoned by the Aradunai due to her collaboration with Iron and Mana. He also learns the Ascendancy, or at least the voice of the Ascendancy in Hyvin, is an individual named Sonora Asilla, and that the Chroma Fist, the gang that sort of does the dirty work for the Aradunai, is led by a Aradunai representative within their power structure, who they learn is Altair Merlin, the leader of the anarchists in Stony Heath that they went there originally to deal with. The position seems to be a punishment for his failures and his resistance or rebellion against the Ascendancy. Fyrn continues to run your jobs with his adventurers, while Septimus begins to get donations for his church in order to maintain the good works that they're doing, while also upgrading it to complete what it looks like to make sure that it's not just sort of a makeshift church in the ruins of an old church. Bruce begins to finish some of his tinkering. Ultimately, on the 12th of the Wild Shadow, on a Maris or a Mundog, the party convenes together. No, Maris is not a Mundog.
I'm sorry, a Maris is a tears.
It's a tears dog. It's a tears dog.
Yeah.
I remembered it as you made a face that it's a tears dog. A Tuesday, on a Tuesday night.
We're going now.
On
On a Tuesday,
the party reconvenes at Jacquette's sort of soft launch of his establishment, where he's inviting friends and family, essentially, which is really just Iron and Mana and all the NPCs that are attached to them, to his new establishment called the Gloveless Cat. Here, first, there's a few gifts for Jacquette. Fyrn brings him a mounted and taxidermied elk's head, which Orin promptly takes away and hides back in the office. And Bruce brings what he's been working on, which is a reverse-engineered bunkos apparatus that is an augmented light crossbow that has some features that allow preloading and multiple shots. Something that can be utilized with specialty bolts as well to create some interesting effects. Bruce is still working on it to update it, but it is usable in the current form that Jacquette has. It's going to take Bruce another week or two to finish it to its ultimate status that he has the capacity for right now. Septimus brings blessings. After dinner, Jacquette has Reardon update the party on what they've discovered about the Aradunai and the Syndicate. This leads to a conversation about what the party wants to do next to further assert their role here in Hyvin. Now that they have real roots set up in Hyvin, they have actual bases of operation. They have their Kobo Co office that is going to be operating here, as well as some of their allies lined up, or at least tentative neutral allies, like the Alumno Defiance and the Commodore's office and the Governor's man, Emile Ducant, as well as, of course, Sigil, which Bruce has a rendezvous with after he finishes the bunkos apparatus. Primarily, they're starting to think about if there's means of bringing other factions into the fold or neutralizing them through diplomacy. Particularly, they're thinking about the Aradunai by potentially returning some of the elemental magic items they have and trying to talk with them. But at the same time, the party also thinks, well, perhaps they are not to be dealt with diplomatically, but rather forcefully. And they begin discussing the potential for breaking Fiora free, and then hopefully utilizing Fiora, getting her on their side to maybe provide an alternative for Aradunai who might be easily disillusioned from the Ascendancy. A lot to discuss there. The party is unsure if Fiora would trust them, but she's sort of their main contact within that fold. But as that conversation goes on, it starts to sort of become evident that Septimus is displaying more zeal for his faith, particularly in his physical form, which Bruce points out. He is seeing some quick conversions happening ever since he consecrated the staff with the power of Machina. There's been this growing, what others would call disease upon his body, but he would call a blessing, that is converting his flesh into metal, slowly but surely. They ask how he's doing, and Septimus is, of course, says that he's never been better, essentially. And then there's some discussion of clarity on what he actually believes and wants to do with his church, where they learn that Septimus has these concepts, these cosmological beliefs, that Machina is not something new, but rather maybe a manifestation of something old, particularly the balance of play between what they have learned is called anima and Olma. Anima being the sort of physical ordered form of creatures and the world, and as they've known for a while, Olma being the spiritual side of the world. Him and Hao clarified that Machina's Whisper essentially believes that the anima form of Olma is insufficient, and if anything, a prison for the Olma within that holds it back, and that there's a unity coming. And in Septimus's paraphrased words, is inevitable. That he essentially, through good works, is hoping to usher people towards willingly. They clarify willingly. Something that perhaps separates them from cults like the cult of Raven, who sort of had almost the exact same tenets, but was a forcible conversion and cloth over the eyes of the sheep, so to speak. This is a little awkward, but then Jacquette's able to shift things around and get people talking again in more normal tones. And the night finishes up with a nice cheers and a reminder of where they came from and what they can do together moving forward in Hyvin, and who knows, maybe beyond. Everyone rests for the evening, and we see a disturbing dream in Septimus's mind. A manifestation of doubt, perhaps, especially after Fyrn questioned his beliefs on the afterlife, and if he'd be connected with his family again, and if that does happen, would they even recognize him? So we see a dream of Septimus on his farm not too long ago, a year and a half or so, with his father scolding him for poor tillage, and him reasonably being upset until his father begins to question what he's done to himself, what has become of him, and the strange things that he's doing. All the while, the great tidal wave in the distance, the great fire from the sky, the elemental storm that ravaged this whole island, this whole archipelago a year and a half ago, was on the horizon, crushing everything, and Septimus felt himself disintegrate, but his mind remained. But then he awoke, coughing into the dark night, as he said to himself that he must rid himself of all these doubts and this weakness. And that is where we left off. So, where we begin today is the morning after, as we enter into the next phase of this week. So, Iron and Mana, you awake in your respective locations. Some of you, I imagine, stayed the night at the Gloveless Cat, especially those who may have stayed out celebrating with the NPCs and having a good time. Septimus, I know you were back at your church. So, on this next day, what would you all like to do, or where would you all be, I guess is a good question.
I think Fyrn would probably get up early in the morning and just continue his regular daily routine of, heading out and doing training with the recruits.
The recruits are hesitant to awaken as they all have sizable hangovers, considering that they may have even been celebrating more than you all, as you have to sort of kick and prod them to get up and slowly begin the day with you.
I leave a small note with Orin, letting the others know where I am.
Okay. I imagine, Fyrn, you do what you used to do with Sass and go off to the beach and do some exercises and drills.
Sounds good.
How about you,
Jacquette?
Jacquette wakes up nice and late. Definitely does not see Fyrn. And so he's got this information, right, that Reardon has been discovering. And he is going to kind of, well, I guess if we're just talking about the day's event, he's just gonna do his usual barding and writing. But the goal is that he's gonna start drip feeding some of his intel discoveries into the Hyvin Times.
Yes.
Either through his own work or telling Kellen, and kind of trying to repair the relationship with Kellen, to be more like, I'll give you something if you give me. Almost, this doesn't have to be anything, but it's just like another avenue for gathering intel. Maybe it's like, with Kellen on my team, it's a +1 to future rolls against something. I don't know, just for like gathering intel.
So I think that Kellen would be agreeable to this. He's definitely like when you, and we don't need to roleplay the scene, but I imagine like General Jacquette charisma, but Kellen of everyone in Hyvin has been like, you almost like resistant to your charisma compared to others. Like he just like can't really be like auto convinced by your auto 10s. But upon sort of this offering of mutual exchange, he seems very respectable to like quid pro quo when things happen. So he is like agreeable to share information between each other for each other's mutual benefit.
Cool. And then I never said this before, but just something that in the past, Jacquette is trying to use the Hyvin Times to his benefit, and so he has also informed Morris of any social gatherings, and maybe gave him a tip off that Iron and Mana was having a celebratory thing at the Gloveless Cat, and Morris was the first one to know about the name or something.
I again don't have to roleplay, but Morris is ecstatic. Like Morris is the opposite of Kellen, that he is incredibly susceptible to Jacquette's charisma, and is excited to have gotten the scoop on the private opening of the Gloveless Cat, and excited for other big shows and things there. So those two, I would say you definitely can consider them to be amenable to working with you.
So,
and like very much like in a you're developing reputation with them, and friendship with them, whereas like Cass Alafina doesn't care at all about you. It's just as long as you keep writing interesting things for her paper.
Yep, that checks out.
Okay, so we'll say Jacquette took a late morning, early afternoon stroll to the Admiralty Court to solidify these contacts. Brucey boy.
I imagine Bruce was up relatively early. He wouldn't probably get as early as Fyrn, but he probably would sit up in bed and just start writing some stuff down in his notes. So I'm trying to think. So we're all staying at the inn, right? The Gloveless Cat.
I imagine so, with Septimus staying back at his private quarters in the temple.
Okay.
I imagine you would have stayed there. The only other thing you would have probably done is if you wanted to put your tower up in Septimus's backyard again, but you've got a soft bed in the inn.
Right, yeah, that's perfectly fine with Bruce. All right, yeah, and then Bruce will probably make his way over to the academy and continue his work. He's gonna work on a little side project as well.
Okay.
That I'm gonna message you about individually.
Please do. That makes me very excited. All right, so we'll say you get back to work basically, and then you're contemplating a new project. Now, I want to ask you: are you gonna keep just continuously work on the Bunkos crossbow till it's done, or are you going to switch back and forth now that it's kind of operational?
Bruce is probably going to be solely working on. I'm going to message you.
Okay,
right?
cool.
And then,
cool.
But the main focus will be the Bunkos unit.
Okay, so majority of your time will be devoted to that, with some little
Yep.
maybe during your lunch break working on something else.
You got it. You got it.
Excellent. This brings us to Septimus. You awake from a difficult sleep after waking up in the middle of the night. Is there anything particularly you want to do on this day as you wake up?
Nothing new, I would say.
Getting back
But
into the
maybe,
routine.
Just get into the routine. Specifically helping kind of foster and fortify the parishioners that I've gathered by kind of like more or less, instead of going out into the town square and trying to rally people to come to him, focusing more on those that have already come to learn more, and more or less giving speeches of kind of what was talked about last week about like the whole idea. And seeing how much that grasps anybody.
Okay. So Septimus, since I've only referred to them as sort of like these cloaked followers, I'll actually give you names for these devotees who are like actually working in the church and like operating the working towards becoming level 1 clerics, whereas Hal is a level 1 cleric. So you have Ilin. She is a female halfling. That is a convert to your faith from the Everflame faith. So she's probably your most like devoted, because she's already has a rigorous discipline in church work, so to speak, in temple work, as she was not a priest in the Everflame church, but a servant in the temple.
Altar girl.
Basically. You have who is a elven woman. She seems to be a Gwyn elf transplant. She is rather older for an elf, and has revealed to you privately in the last 2 months of this that she has some kind of sickness and she's dying, and that she's sort of doing good works in the end of her life, in hopes of positive outcomes for the afterlife, but also possibly she's just very curious about this ascension of flesh for someone who is ill.
Interesting.
Uh-oh. Test subject.
What do you mean? I'm patient 0.
First clinical trial.
Mm.
You have Narvi, who's a dwarven fellow, who is a student, actually. He spends his times half with you and half in the artificing college, where he is a student.
Mm-hmm.
Very young, the youngest of your converts.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, you can spend the morning sort of focus. I'll call it this: you're focusing your flock, focusing their thoughts, their beliefs towards a unified message, in that way. All right. So you are going about your day doing these things. Now, is there any sort of specific coming together that you all want to do to make any actionable plans as a team? Or are people looking to sort of do a drip feed movement through the week with just sort of downtime, but not as long as we have been doing?
Well, my thing is Bruce is making these weapons, these magic items, and as a player, I want to give him the time and space to do that.
Okay.
So whatever he needs is that, and otherwise Jacques is just going to keep gathering intel, planning, spreading his good word, but not making any actions that would disrupt this time and thus disrupt Bruce's time. And disrupt my cool magic item being made.
Fair enough. I mean, it makes sense.
And
it's very easy enough to just extend the downtime by 2 weeks to have Bruce complete his magic item work, so that he can be kind of caught up with everyone else's downtime.
Right, and I know that he'd also want to talk to Sigil, so I want to give him that space.
And I got another month on my
That's true. Fyrn, you've got a while too on yours.
So I'm also continuing the status quo.
Perfect. That is totally fine. I am gonna look at Alex's message right now really quickly.
Sean, I had an idea, and stop me if this is too crazy, but
yeah.
Would it be possible to I don't know if the Koboko people have these types of materials, but would it be possible to make an anti-scrying room in either the fort or the establishment?
It would be expensive to create a permanent space and a structure to prevent the scrying, but it's extremely possible.
Oh yeah,
Koboko has contracts with very wealthy people in Halcyon who obviously like this type of thing. So Koboko is capable of that. It just is expensive.
Fyrn would like a quote.
Okay. I will look into a quote for you, which should be pretty feasible and pretty easy to.
I mean, you can just have Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum cast in the same spot for a year. There you go.
What level spell is that?
4th.
Ooh. Yeah, let me look at that real quick.
Is that
Or-
what Bruce uses?
No, it's not.
No,
He uses the tower.
he doesn't have 4th level spells.
Oh.
And then there's non-detect, but that's only on a creature.
Okay, let me look at
Maybe
that.
like some sort of anti-magic field.
No, really, what you're asking for is the private sanctum. That's exactly what you're looking for. So, yeah, that would be extremely expensive.
Oh boy. Okay.
Like, I will. What I will say, I haven't calculated the expense, but it is certainly, probably beyond your current budget.
Okay. Fair enough.
But you know, it is something that you could do eventually. Especially if you're looking for it in an expedited form that's actually like accelerated to make it permanent. It will be expensive. To have it just sort of to like pay the services of a someone capable of casting it for 365 days is the cheaper route, but that is gonna obviously take a year. So Koboko's Koboko's specialty that they sell, the accelerated enchantment on construction, is an expensive ask.
Okay. Fair enough.
But definitely something that you'd potentially be able to do down the line. But let me check. Alex, did you mean to link me an item there? Oh no.
No, I didn't. It's
Okay.
just yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, that's definitely something you could possibly do. It's basically an advanced version of your baseline artificing abilities. Sort of think Curon's Sending Plus, but
Yeah.
an extension of one of your features. So the biggest thing would be if you want both of those things or just one of them in the first question.
Probably just one of them.
One of them. Okay. Is there
Yeah.
one that you want more than the other? You can message me.
Hey.
I thought so.
Okay.
I thought that might be. Okay, that's something that you could do. It's just probably something that would push your downtime significantly.
Oh, significantly. Okay.
Well, when I mean significantly, I mean like anything, like it's I don't mean like months.
Could I expend a lot more money to like buy specific parts and then like break that down into?
Yes, what you could do, this is what you could do, is you could subcontract some of the work to college artificers to make it faster. So, or so you can work on what you're working on now in concert.
Yes. Yeah.
And then what it would be is you would gain the 2 weeks towards this project that you're also working on the crossbow. and then I'll need to figure out exactly how long it would take to make an item like this.
Okay.
And like when you, I'm gonna ask you one clarifying question in there,
Okay.
which will help determine the length of time.
Okay.
And then once me and Alex clarify this, we'll return to downtime. I see. Okay, that's helpful. Yeah. Let me just look up a quick spell. Because this is basically creating an item that does the effects of a spell that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I just have to remember which spell it is.
I think I know, and I think it's 3.
It is 3. One more question for you.
Okay. Riveting content here, guys.
Yes, this is the fun
My
part of
apologies.
downtime is a secret item that we have to coordinate. See, if we
we're
were in
secretly planning to, don't worry.
if we were at a physical table, this would be where they would all be like just bullshit role playing while you and I whisper in the corner.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Which feel free to bullshit RP while I'm typing
Yeah.
these things.
Oh, yeah.
We're in the DMs right now. I'll get to the bullshit roleplay when I can.
Yeah, Clayton, I got something cooking up, Sean. So heads up.
Ooh.
Might not be today, but
Soon. Yeah.
it's when the opportunity unfolds. We hope that all of you out there are relaxing in a nice comfy chair, drinking a nice hot cocoa or tea perhaps, while we sit here and do our downtime. Listen to the brushstrokes of Stefan painting. This is now an ASMR broadcast.
Brush, brush, brush,
Isn't that soothing?
brush. Yeah, Jacquet's actually taken up a new hobby. He paints miniatures in the tavern.
That's actually would be kind of like hilarious if Jacquet had like this secret nerdy interest. Like he likes like wargaming in this world.
But it's the miniatures are dolls from children that he stole from.
Okay. So, Bruce, you can subcontract this for at least the 2 weeks that you need to finish your current project, and then you can work.
Perfect.
And I'm thinking, let me see. one more thing. Well,
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Nuts.
There they are, standing in city. Big ones, one some as big as your head.
I love this entertainment. There we go. Okay. All right, so it's going to take, this is going to take your 2 weeks of subcontracting. And then I'm going to say 1 more week after that to finish completely.
Okay, all right.
And overall, it is going to, the 2 weeks that it is being, the 3 weeks is to build both parts.
Okay.
To have the one part and the other part that work together. Really, the first 2 weeks is going to be building the main part. The last week is building your part.
Got it. Got it.
And the reason I'm going to say you can, like, thematically, roleplay wise, you're like incorporating, you're even kind of like utilizing the Bunkos proprietary knowledge of Electrum slots to make this. And that's how it works, is that the 2 pieces, how you basically are creating 2 Electrum slots on 2 pieces, and and that's how they work together.
Got it. Okay.
And it is going to cost you with the labor for the other artificers 2,000 silver pieces.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right. So Bruce is tinkering away in his clandestine ways in the college with whatever his secret project is, mixed with his above board project for Jacquet. So if you guys would like, we can just do since we're going to give this time for Bruce's active downtime to catch up with your guys' active downtime. I think the easiest way to do it is just give you guys another season of downtime that you can utilize.
Sounds good to me.
To just do another.
Will be right back.
Sure, no problem. So we'll give you guys another 2-week season for downtime to utilize your bases or anything else that you want to do generally within those 2 weeks. So Fyrn, are you looking to do what you've typically been doing? A little training and a little work?
I think, it would probably be Fyrn's starting to be a little bit more hands-off with the trainees. If he thinks they're capable enough, he sends them on small jobs and is doing more recruiting than babysitting.
Do you still have the stats I gave you last week for your guys?
I do.
Okay. So then what you can do is select one of them to use their stats for some small contracts. So that can be basically where you can choose strength, dexterity, intelligence, or charisma to use.
Okay. I'm gonna choose Ukal, and I'm gonna have him try and do a charisma check.
Okay.
He got a contract to find there's an old wife, and she thinks that her husband is cheating on him.
I love it.
On her, and he has to figure out what's going on. So he might or it's like the opposite, where it's like the dude thinks the wife is cheating on him, so he has to go like either try and hit on this person or find out who he's, having an affair with.
Sure. Some real adventure work.
PI level shit.
I like how we've basically created a Dungeons and Dragons mini game within our Dungeons and Dragons game. So go ahead and roll his charisma check.
Okay. I believe he has a 17 in charisma, which means his modifier is a number.
+3.
Okay, then he rolled a 19.
Okay. Ukal does a good job. And I'll say he does find out that this man's wife is cheating on him. But not in the sense of where he doesn't hit on her and she responds to it. What happens is he hits on her, she says, "I have a partner," and then someone walks up that is the partner that is not the husband.
Oh.
And he sees them rendezvous away together, holding hands and kissing. So he does discover.
Spills the tea later with us, and we have a good laugh about it.
Exactly. And he makes a good chunk of silver off of this one. The husband was very willing to pay. Let me just look up. I don't know. Let's just say he makes good money off of it. I'm not going to suddenly have you have a sub inventory for these followers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Fyrn would probably, other than the cost for them to actually put the request down with our group, the base fee. Fyrn would probably just give him all the money. He doesn't care.
Could you roll a d20 for me?
Sure. Nat 20, let's go.
Okay.
I'm on fire tonight.
Yeah, this was a roll for complications, so you do not gain anything for that nat 20. Complications just don't happen.
I'll take it.
Excellent. All right, so Ukal does some more good work for Fyrn's Adventuring Guild, spreading the word that they are reliable. Septimus, you're maintaining during this time period. You're working on your own internal affairs. You're not doing any carousing out amongst the people, right?
During this new 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yes. But I just thought of something that
Okay.
he might want to work on.
Let's hear about it.
I think it's just going to be a matter of how much time and money would need for me. Thinking of kind of the dream sequence he had, and about his mortality and his mortal weaknesses. He thinks of his own weakness of the fear of drowning.
Okay.
So Septimus would want to, and maybe with Bruce's help, depending on how busy he is, because I know he's trying to do his own thing.
Bruce is too busy. He won't be able to help you.
Then just on Septimus's own, quote-unquote artifice, or just get or create some sort of magical item of water breathing that aesthetically would be like a breathing mask apparatus.
Interesting. So, ostensibly, the item that you're creating is a cap of water breathing, which is a real magic item. That I think is extremely fair to say that you can invest in and build something like this. So it will cost you because you have crafting tool proficiency and all of that fun stuff. So it's an uncommon thing to create. So it's going to take 2 weeks. So this one season will all be all you need. It'll cost you 200 silver pieces.
Okay.
And I'll ask you for a d20 roll.
Uh, 16.
Okay. You do not develop any complications from working on this magic item, and I'll even say that Narvi is working on it with you, and maybe that's an opportunity for this 2 weeks to learn a little bit about this young dwarf and encourage him in the ways of Machina, as you are crafting this item. So I'll say you have for your inventory, you can have cap of water breathing, and you can flavor that as you wish. It is the mechanics of this are going to be the cap of water breathing mechanics. So it does require a magic action to activate it.
Mm-hmm. Does it need to be? It needs to be attuned. Or no? Yes.
Cap of water breathing is not an attunement item.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I was That's why I was checking for it.
Magical action. Okay, yeah, magical action. You need magical action. Got it. Yep.
That's why I was checking, because I was like, if this isn't a tunable item, then we're gonna need to put some more work into it and money into it if it needs to not be attunable. But thankfully, this item exists. And I like to imagine this is a joint artificing and faith endeavor, similar to when you were putting in your arm.
It's like those things where Bruce looks at and he's just like, well, when Alex gets back, like, how?
Yeah, like honestly, when you guys reconvene, like Septimus is rapidly accelerating his transformation. Now, do you have I have something in mind for this on what this might look like on you, but do you have something that you specifically want for this and how it looks?
Well, I was just picturing just kind of like a breathing mask that's got tubes coming from each side, going behind his cloak to the back. That's right, Stefan. I see.
So I'm thinking. I have a suggestion. We can go either way. Mainly to prevent you from. I don't want. Well, I guess is you considering this a separate item or part of your augmentation?
Part of my augmentation.
Part of your augmentation. Okay.
But what did you have in mind?
So I had in mind that Septimus is like straight up replacing his jaw, straight up trying to use his faith to accelerate the ferrofluid to his jaw, and then working with Narvi to like turn that mechanical part to him into something that does the effects of cap of water breathing.
I mean, it kind of like that, because that is kind of sort of an augmentation. So.
Yeah. So it's literally like you would still you wouldn't be walking around with a Bane mask. You would have a like this thing that you can activate with your divine spirit to generate the essentially the air bubble that comes with the cap of water breathing.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Kind of like, I don't know what animal it is. There's some animal that captures air bubbles around its face to do deep dives.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So it's essentially like that, like where this like jaw is able to formulate this air bubble that is divine magic sustained in that way. So thank you. What I'll say is none of you see Septimus for 2 weeks, because he is locked away in the private chambers of his own, inviting Narvi in each day to slowly through ritual accelerate the staff's effect on him, and then through artificing manipulate that metallic flesh. It's almost in a weird way, Septimus, like you are through faith creating a similar effect of the Bunkos apparatus, where it's like I'm creating turning my body into a manipulable material to create aspects that I want to by divinely commanding that machine aspect that is replacing your physical aspect. So you're, in essence, like there's a point in the week when like you have like no jaw, like everything is like you are like under the knife essentially in this strange way. And if anyone were to walk in on it, it would be horrifying, unless they're a devotee. But you're also at the same time teaching Narvi how to enact the divine rituals of augmentation that you used Bruce to do with your arm. And Jacquette, would you like to gather any intel?
Oh, you know it, Papa.
And I'll allow you to utilize Kellen for the +1 with this.
Yes. Awesome. So we're going to target 2 new factions.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to target the AEC to find out more about them. And we're going to target the Commodore's office.
Interesting. Oh, that's right, because you're level 2 now, so you get to do 2.
Yeah.
All right, give me those checks. Are you paying any silver to add more?
Yes, yeah. Well, so no matter what, you have to pay a base amount just to do it.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm spending the 25 extra to do it at level 2. And just for reference, so I'm not just adding coins to my inventory. Every season I generate 1,000 normally, but we quartered it, so I'm just threw 250 in there.
No problem.
Minus the 100 from the gather intel. So let's see. On the AEC, we got 17 on the roll, +4, +3, 24 on the AEC.
Hey.
And
let's get the Commodore.
And on the Commodore, that's a 23. Rolling hot for this first one.
Okay. So, for the AEC with a 24, let me go and look at some of my notes. AEC. Okay. I will say with the AEC, your spy network has, with 24, learned that they recently let me put it this way. Your spies discovered a strange ship in the docks. Actually, I would say not in the docks, off the coast. That's not part of the typical ships coming in and out. It's not part of the syndicates comings and goings in the docks. It never docked, not once. And the reason it stood out is 1, because it never docked, 2, that it stayed for 2 weeks, and 3, that your spies saw it moving with no sails down. Now, that kind of tech, they sort of learn, is not Sodality tech. That is either Avenirian or Halcyonic. Ships do not move without sails or steam, and this ship moved without steam or sail. They saw heightened guards around the Avenirian Electrum Company. So one of two things can be sort of surmised from this. A representative from the Avenir itself visited, or more likely, a Halcyonic representative potentially visited. And the reason I say more likely is because an Avenirian would likely just teleport into the Avenirian Electrum Company offices.
Okay.
And we'll say that to make this make sense, they saw like a strange transport, like a strange carriage being transported from the Avenirian Electrum Company to the docks that they never really saw the people properly leave or exit it, almost as if someone was using clandestine magic visibility perhaps to move people around that they didn't want others to see. But your spies saw it. So something strange is happening with Avenir. With the Commodore's office, the first thing you learn with a 23 is that and this is like the easiest thing that they learn, like you would have learned this with a much lower roll, is that they're just trying desperately to get the Commodore back to Hyvin in a safe way. But they're having a lot of trouble deciding how to move their guards about. And the Commodore doesn't want to come back. The Commodore has like fallen into almost like a depression where she's locked herself in Asia City. The other thing you learn is that they're also desperately trying to seize control, find a way to safely and without too much disturbance take back the docks. They have been sending like sort of like their people into the docks to try to talk to sailors, talk to Audwin, and like try to like convince people to stop allowing Mr. Greaves to control the docks. They're trying to do some reverse corruption to the docks because they don't want to just go in with their guards and start arresting people and taking control of the sword. So they're in a campaign to gain territory with money and diplomacy.
All right.
To reestablish some kind of presence from them in the lower city.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll add on to that. The reason why they want to do that, since you got a 23, the reason they want to do that is they basically want to open up a safe and easy pathway for them to potentially try to get the governor to come help with the situation. And have an alternative to the rail line that they're struggling to complete. Because they don't want to, and maybe this is the most actionable thing, is the governor doesn't really know what's happening. They haven't really shared much with the governor. They've asked Emile Ducant to kind of keep some of the updates quieter until they can seize back some control. But the governor does know that there's a challenger to the Commodore. He just doesn't know the details. As far as they know. They believe Emil is working with them in good faith.
Right. Okay.
And ring-a-ding-ding. A crossbow's complete. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Do-do-do-do.
Yeah, it's like
officially add that to...
It's like Jedi Fallen Order when you're working on the lightsaber and the camera pans behind the back and then over it, and there's a complete one there.
Yeah, Bruce is like polishing it.
Yeah. So you have the crossbow at its very rare level.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mentioned at some point, Bruce finds Jaquette.
Mm-hmm.
And excitedly settles up next to him. And, hey, Jaquette.
Ah, Bruce, my friend, how are you?
Ah, great. It's, guess what I got? And Bruce reaches into his bag very carefully. And he,
Oh. Even
hands it
more
over.
beautiful.
Hands it up and, like, just, like, strokes his, fingers down, like, the limbs.
Mm-hmm.
How about, we take it out, to Fyrn's fortress and give it a couple of test runs. Or shots.
Oh, but of course, I'm sure I could shoot this clear across the, what's the ocean called?
Oh my god. I just forgot.
Clear across the ocean to Gwenvalier.
Hey,
Lord.
well, I mean, it's good, but maybe not that good.
Hyperbole, Bruce. Learn
Okay,
to sell yourself.
Still working on that
Big
one.
blue.
When Bruce goes,
Carencia. I was right. My brain was right. I was second guessing my
sounds
own names.
Proud of you.
Go ahead, Bruce.
When Bruce and Jaquette go over to the fortress to try out the crossbow, after a couple of shots with Jaquette, Jaquette, I got a favor to ask of you.
Of course, my friend. Anything you need, please. How can I help?
Bruce takes out a letter and an envelope, and he hands it to Jaquette. Just read this on your own time.
Okay. Like, not right now, but later?
Hey, you could read it now if you want, but it's up to you. I'll talk to you later. All right. I'm glad the crossbow works out really well. And yeah, I gotta meet up with Sigil.
Oh, okay.
See ya.
And Jacquette's gonna put away the envelope to open later in the evening. Intrigued, but the urgency doesn't seem too urgent, so he's a little more he's entertaining himself with shooting the crossbow and maybe showing off to some of Fyrn's adventurers that are at camp.
Just like, watch this. 3 shots at once. I'd like to see you do that, unnamed individual.
It's Michael Udon. We've met many times.
Yeah.
Wow, they actually let you defend this place? I don't know if they have noodles here, bud. Sorry to tell you.
They don't.
Noodles. Actually, what would actually happen is you would see Balfour would actually probably be hanging out there and would be like, "Ha ha! Great shot, Jaquette. This is such a fine contraption. I've never seen something that could fire off that many bolts."
I mean, if there's anyone that's going to redesign an age-old weapon, it's gonna be Bruce.
And he's impressed. And I'll say Rahario, the half-orc rogue that is one of his adventurers, is also like super impressed and also kind of like, can I get a shot? Can I give it a try?
I don't know. It's specially built for Tabaxi's hands.
I'm sorry.
just
Did I
once.
see you just sneeze into your hands and not wash them? Please get away from me. I don't like you. It's nothing personal. But Jacquet will leave to go back, and when he's back in the safety of his little office in the gloveless
Oh wait, actually,
cat.
I do want to change something there. I threw a random voice on for no reason with that character, but he's actually from Gwentleer, and he actually take what I said, but say it in your accent. He speaks with a Domizerum lower accent.
Can I try that? No, I don't think. I don't like you. Oh, but why? I'm so much fun. No, stop it. You sound too much like me. I'm you, but from the future.
Get back to work, Rosario.
All right then. Wanders off to go like paint a fence.
But yeah, so Jacquet goes back to his little office in the gloveless cat, and will take out the letter from Bruce, or the envelope from Bruce, opening it, assuming there's a letter inside, to see what it says.
It's been an awesome move if it was empty.
I'm messaging you that letter right now.
Oh, okay.
But there's a letter and something in there for you.
Oh my god, sneaky.
Alrighty. Well, you can read that on your own time. For the purposes of catching everything up, to give Bruce a chance to also get his sigil time in, I think we're gonna do one last final season of downtime, since it'll take him a week to finish up what he's working on, and then we'll give him a week of time with sigil for research and whatnot.
Does that mean the fort will be done?
Yes, yeah, because that would be because you only had
That'd be 4 weeks. I think I had 1 more month left, so maybe we.
because I
finished a
think
little
what
bit
I
ahead
gave
of
you
schedule.
the total was 125, I think. So I think this would finish your fort out, or at least 99% there, with like a couple days change afterwards to put the finishing touches on.
Cool.
All right. All right. I think before we'll jump into that last round of downtime, we'll take a quick break. Give Jacques quite a second to digest the letter he's received, and do our real last bit of downtime. All right, folks, we'll be back shortly. Thank you for hanging out. Welcome back to Adrift in Aldhalor. Our heroes are finishing up some extended downtime to get some work done that they've had on their to-do list for a while and establish some different aspects. They are starting this last season of downtime at the last few days of the Wild Shadow, leading into the Shining Shadow month, which is the last month of winter, when the eclipse is nearly completely ended, and when when there will be rapid shifts in the eclipse, every day a little bit brighter, every day a little bit more warmer, leading into the new year, the new dawn, in the Shining months. So, but before we jump into that, Bruce just handed off a letter to Jacquette and sped off, actually, rather rapidly to get back to his work. Jacquette, you've just read this letter in your private office.
Yeah, so Jacquette's office is a little small, it's a little cramped. You know, it was very much part of the original structure that he, at the end of the renovation, was like, I don't have anywhere to stay. Wait, oh shit, fuck. And converted this little pantry basically into this. And so there is a little chimney in the corner with a little hearth to fight off the cold of the long dark. And he's got this little desk.
There's also a taking up way too much
space. A deer head,
yes.
Yep, a deer head on one of the walls that just looms over him. To his back is one of those old style leaded windows with like the bottle end glass. As he's got this tiny little desk that he leans over with just all manner of crap on it. It's very poorly organized. As he's just got this letter in one hand, and in his other, he is just slowly flipping over this small disc, or coin of sorts. Disc. As he kind of like taps it a little bit, not too much, as there's like one side that's a little red, and he reads the letter again. He just puts it down and he goes, all right then. Pockets the beacon, gets up and tosses the letter into the fire.
Excellent. As Bruce and Jacquette have something going on where he's delivered some kind of contraption, maybe what he was working on secretly. It is now the 27th, or we'll say it's the 27th evening of the Wild Shadow, going into the next 2 weeks of downtime. It is a Maris, and the 1 second.
It's actually a Himmel.
Oh, yeah, because that would have been the 13th was the Wednesday.
Got him.
And actually, I did it wrong, where the second session of downtime is the 28th to the 11th.
28th to 11th is the next iteration of downtime. Okay. Take that back. It's a Himmel.
It's a Himmel, folks.
The character in Fyrn.
This Saturday, then, is the 30th of the Wild Shadow, which means that this Saturday is the Crescent Heart celebration of the end of the Pallid conflict, and the beginning of truly Iluvanya's reign as the prime deity of Aradun. So things are shifting in the streets. It's getting warmer out, but really it doesn't start getting super warm and spring-like until honestly the day after the Crescent Heart celebration, as every day almost rapidly warms. until the springtime fully arrives at the end of the Shining Shadow month. So you see more people are out and about, getting ready for a celebration. Septimus, you would notice that the Circle of the Moon temple is opening up significantly. So they, they shudder. Like one of the defining qualities of Elysian architecture is exposure and open decor, so that they can be present with the moon. Even though when they're outside of Elysia, that's not as well. Actually, these days everyone is graced by the moonlight of Iluvanya. So you see all of these shutters that were added and closed off during the long dark are being opened up, despite it still being quite chilly. Although the days are getting better, it's no longer where you need to wrap your face in heavy scarves and several layers. You can go out with a brisk jacket these days. There's not really as much snow anymore. Any remaining snow is starting to melt. And it's starting to rain more often than it is snowing. But they're opening up the shutters of the Circle Temple, and they're beginning to construct temporary tents and structures outside in the courtyard. As you see every day, really over the last 2 weeks, every day there's building more and more there to prepare for the Crescent Heart Day celebration. The rest of you would also notice in other parts of the city that people are just like opening up their balconies more, their windows. Like there's just sort of this general like airing out of the city that's happening. And as people are spending time outside, even if it's really cold on that day, you see people spending time outside in the moonlight, particularly, especially if it's a clear, cloudless night. You'll find people meditating in gardens. You'll find people, for lack of a better way to put it, moonbathing. They're not sunbathing, they're moonbathing. Like people are exposing themselves to Iluvanya, and there are decorations throughout that you can see. There's these purple decorations being built up everywhere. There was way more. The streets no longer are, while there's still some of the electrum lanterns, people have started covering them with like almost like those paper lanterns that they've painted and dyed purple to give off this purple light throughout the space. The city is really shifting dramatically, as even though like there's a lot of spiritual worship in Hyvin, even those who are spiritual worshipers, it's not like they view the faith of Iluvanya as some like enemy faith. They view Iluvanya as a spirit within their faith, that they just have a different interpretation of than the Elysian elves, who have a specific relationship with Iluvanya. They view her as another spirit in the long chain of spirits threaded throughout the world. In the same way that a mountain might be infused with a stone earth elemental, Iluvanya is the moon elemental, the key chief elemental manifestation of moons. And of course, the Everflame Church has a lot of respect for the Church of Iluvanya, given the alliances that were made in the Pallid conflict. There's the whole city is shifting, and you also see a decline in conflict, or at least the decline in conflict maintains, as this is sort of becoming it's almost like a neutral time. It's like you should not be spilling blood as Iluvanya's moon comes into its zenith. And it is deeply, deeply unlucky to spill blood during the weeks surrounding the zenith of the Crescent Heart. But that's the celebration is a couple days away. We'll kind of take this downtime 1 week at a time, just so that I have a few descriptions for the celebration. That you don't need to be doing anything particular with it. If your character would be, you could describe what they are doing. I know Fyrn, you're gonna have a feast on that day. So Fyrn, you'd actually honestly probably be spending this time organizing that, and getting that ready, and inviting people, carousing, getting help from others to facilitate it, to mark.
And I
that
wouldn't say
celebration.
it's like it's. I wouldn't say it's more of a political move than it is like an all-night rager. You know, I'm inviting, local businesses, blacksmiths, people that I trust and I've been, working with in the past, just for like a large feast that'll probably just like celebrate and go on. If they want to have like a religious service or something, we do have a small shrine, but you could go to the Iluvanya church for that if that's really what
Yeah,
you want.
and some people, and many of the taverns will be having these sort of feasts. Most of the taverns have their feast night the day before the Zenith, because they know so many people do not rage on the Zenith. So it honestly, it really is a New Year's Eve situation. You rage on the Zenith Eve, and then you pay your respects on the Zenith. If you're of that persuasion and not someone who's just like, this is purely a religious week for me, I am going to be spending every day in the temple and helping with the temple's organizations.
Yeah, I think Fyrn would respect the religious practices. Maybe even visit the Iluvanya church a few times during the week, just to, tell people about it and, pay respects to the spirits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Other than the potential for a character to be doing something during the celebrations, what are folks' actual downtime activities for this 2 weeks?
Well, in addition to going back to like solidifying followers, would you allow, now that I have the ability to breathe underwater, Septimus would go to like the shore and test it out and start. 2 weeks might not be the amount for it, but start to try to overcome his fear of drowning by just swimming in the water with the cap that he has.
Yeah, absolutely. This would be certainly something that is way more.
I like a growth moment for him where it's just like, okay, like I don't have to worry about this, so I'm gonna take it one step at a time.
A little bit of exposure therapy for Septimus.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we can say is maybe you spend a portion of each of your days visiting the shore and
it's not gonna be like a whole day thing. Like
exactly, like
an hour or two a day.
An hour or two, yeah, absolutely. And like it starts off with it starts with it being you testing this thing as well to make sure it works.
Yeah.
The first day is probably mostly testing the capacity of it. And then you realize though, like when you're in the water, you're like, it's like a new sense of, each day becomes a newer sense of freedom. But in those first few days, it's very frightening for you in the same way it was frightening to get in the water with Bruce's spell on you. And the water is frigid right now. So it is you can't really spend that much time in it because of that.
Boots Winterland.
That's true. You can attune to your boots for these endeavors. So then, yes, you're able to go into the water and like the first few days, you might not even actually spend the full hour in it. You might even just like get in for a moment and stay as long as you can. And I'd say each day you're working up more and more time in it. And like there's other little things that are just like you also getting through it. It's just sort of like you step into the water in the first day and you test it, and then you just sort of feel like maybe your heartbeat get faster, and you can feel kind of like a strong riptide current pull you, and it sends you into a panic because it's just like you're thinking about that. You get this flashback to the day of the storm and being whipped through the farm by the waters, ripping through everything. You even just sort of like see like the shift of like seagrass, and just like you have to get out as soon as you're just like I can't. And each day that sort of keeps happening where you're reminded, you get these flashes of detritus, and even seeing just sort of like floating wood in the waters or anything like that just sort of sends you into a bit of a panic, and you just sort of come out of the water and like almost like need to pop the bubble and just like completely, like, you could just magically get rid of it, but like you rip it down because you're like need that breath of air, and it feels suffocating to have it over your face, until eventually you get comfortable having that over your face, and eventually you start to feel the flows of the water more like almost like ley lines. It's part of the natural movements of things. But then you also think, you get these flashes of memory to your father talking about water and movement and the spirits, and it gets you angry. And it's like no longer is the water peaceful. No longer is the water frightening, but also no longer is the water peaceful. It is just sort of like a space to conquer. A force to become greater than. And that's sort of maybe on the last day, where I'm not going to say that your peace is fully, your fear is fully
not
removed.
Over 2 weeks for sure, but just to kind of take those initial steps where if we were to go in a boat again, it's not like I got to stay below deck. Like I could be above, but be like, all right, I'm just going to be cautious.
Yeah, exactly. And then like on that last day, it's not that you suddenly are sass and can swim around and enjoy the water, but you like almost let yourself free float for a moment. And then like there's almost this neutral coming of to terms with like, I can at least keep myself safe in the water. I may not ever fully be rid of this fear, but I know that with focus.
But I'm conquering it. I'm conquering the fear as opposed to getting over it.
Exactly. You will always feel a sense of fear, but you know that you can overcome it and you can conquer this other part of what you would perceive as your weakness.
Yes.
All right. Jacquette, any special intel gathering you'd like to do during this round?
So yes, Jacquette wants to gather intel on the Syndicate again, just because they're the priority target number one. And then also the Alumno Defiance.
Okay. All right.
More of like a check out what's going on. For the Syndicate, that is a 11.
Okay.
And on the Defiance, oh, Christ. It's a 13.
Okay. I would say of all of the factions in the city, these are the two most underground. So you don't get that much out of these intel gatherings. The most you can gather about the Alumno Defiance is that one is just a certain confirmation that they are not messing with you. But two, the biggest thing you learn is that they really aren't messing with anyone anymore. Maybe they've taken to heart the ass kicking they got, but then the olive branch that you all gave back to them, and they are biding their time staying in their tunnels. And you know that, like, that's what you know, is that they are not really leaving the Undercity, so to speak.
Right.
With the Syndicate,
maybe he hears whispers of better words of Iron and Mana after the resurrections.
Oh, well, that's no doubt. For the Syndicate, you don't learn anything about their underground dealings, but you do learn that Mr. Greaves is hosting his own Crescent Heart Zenith get together at the Otter Business.
Is there a guest list?
You know Cadmus will be there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that, I'll say for the flavor of it, like, you learn that straight from Kellen's mouth.
Would Septimus get an invitation?
No.
Jacques doesn't get an invitation?
I saved his boys. I thought he would like it.
No. That's the
thought we were
syndicate, not the
buddies.
If
Defiance.
anybody's got a,
Oh, my mistake. Oh, I apologize.
Fyrn made him a lot of money.
I hear Mr. Greaves
did.
and
Compared to his actual business, you did not make him that much money.
Okay. So Jacques has his own things that he's going to be doing during this downtime. I don't know if you want to specifically around the Crescent Heart Zenith.
Yep, I just want to get everyone's general stuff first, and then we can get into the specifics.
Okay.
Bruce, I know one of the weeks of these two you have to finish your project. The second one, you want to do research with Sigil or spend time with Sigil?
Yeah. Just all that. Yeah.
All of the above. Yeah.
Where's my dissertation, John?
Your dissertation. Well, I've been waiting for you to with us to get to this point. So what I'd ask for you, Bruce, and you can take a second to think about this, and also you don't need to give it to me tonight. You can, well, I will probably have us do a brief,
Ed.
a brief
7?
RP moment
Okay.
with you and Sigil.
Okay.
But specifics of what you want to know about the planes of existence, I have general stuff I can give you, but for more like, this is the, the extra questions you might have beyond just sort of the basic information that could be found in the library for each one. Specific questions about celestial mechanics that you may want to know. Specific questions about interplanar relations, things like that. Because what I'll give you tonight at the very least is the list of planes.
Okay.
And they're sort of somewhat their domain, that you can then extrapolate further questions from that. And then at some point before next session, you'll receive a larger document with some serious lore.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's okay with you, I would prefer to maybe have a flashback later on after I've read it.
That's yes.
About my
Yeah, that's easier. That's actually much better for me too.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah.
So we can just have the downtime is engaged in, and we can maybe hash more out in that flashback.
Yeah, I mean, also could be a scenario later on where I could go see Sigil and then ask him more questions.
Yes,
but
that's actually we'll go with that. We'll take it. We'll play it by ear. I think that's easier than what I just proposed there. But we'll say for the downtime, you'll be working on completing your side project, and then the second week will be the time that you spend doing your own individual research and acquiring the research that Sigil is his promised to provide you. And that is not just plain information. There will also be your grandfather's journal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that Sigil has, and when he has time, has been investigating for you. So you'll get all that. So the way I'll deliver that to you is I'll give you the basics, and then you can return to Sigil for further questions, and then we may have a jump back flashback with anything that maybe you interacted with him with during that week of research.
Cool.
I think that'll work out well. Okay, I think that is everyone's general stuff. Now we can get into sort of what is going on around town. during this time. So Fyrn, I actually have a question about your celebration. Are you investing any silver in this?
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
I would definitely be investing silver for at least the food.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I plan on inviting a lot of people, but I don't know how many will show up.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the fort should be fully functional, so it will offer, you know, the regular everyday amenities that the fort like typically provides, except for maybe like the training section.
Mhm.
You know, we would probably lock up all the
Yeah.
blacksmith tools and stuff like that. But yeah, like if people wanted to, you know, set up shops in the public area, or, you know, go into the bathhouse or whatever, you know, those will be available. And I think it would probably be something where, yeah, I'd invest in large amount of food, and I'd have a sort of a serve yourself sort of scenario where it's
Yeah.
a large dining hall, and like
Mhm.
you go into the kitchen area and pick out your food and bring it back in, and everybody's like, you know, celebrating in there.
Yeah.
Maybe hire a band if Jaquette isn't busy. He's probably going to be busy doing something else, but like, you know, hire somebody to play like flute or lute in the background.
Flute or lute, but not both.
Jacquet doesn't play music, so
Yeah, he's a slam poet. Fyrn, I'd say that if you want to have this feast, then I would say that it's going to cost you 1,000 silver pieces to invest in food and entertainment and any minor facilities that you might need that are not part of the fort.
Sounds good. And yeah, invite all, like I said, you know, a decent amount of lower, middle to upper class people
Mhm.
trying to bring business my way. And I guess I would probably not put too much stress on the new recruits during this time, because I guess everybody's celebrating. But if they wanted to make some money on the side, you know, they could do that too.
And are you holding this festivity on the Zenith day or the night before?
I would say probably the Zenith day, because I would want to respect the traditions of the religion.
Okay. All right.
But I would also say that it's like dinner serves you know, at a certain time, but the fort is open all day, you know, so people can come and explore. You know, it's like the first opening to the public of the fortress.
Okay. All right. And Jacquet, do you have any specific goings on you have planned?
So Jacquet's actually spending more time in the Temple District,
Okay.
both leading up to and during Iluvanya's Zenith. He did grow up in an Easter, Christmas Iluvanya household, but he still there's a level of comfort that brings him. So he is going to participate in the rituals, specifically on the Zenith Day and pre-Zenith Day at the Iluvanya temple, and then he will probably stop in, because he's there in Septimus's temple at some point.
Okay.
To see what's going on.
All right. So
Septimus would actually more or less have some sort of minor celebration for it as well, because kind of what you said before too is in the hierarchy of belief with Septimus of these enema existing. He sees that like Iluvanya was someone who ascended and attained power and was like overall pretty good, and so it's just like, yeah, like We could celebrate that. That's fine. She did good things, and yeah.
Okay. So what I think is probably the best way to do this is to take a break from the downtime and do a small bit of that day. Fyrn, you spend a majority of this day setting up your fort for the festivities. You've got long tables set up. You've got the feast is being cooked and prepared. You see some of the shop owners that you've invited have come to sort of establish this little expo show almost that you're gonna have with the feast. It's quite popular actually. You've done a lot of carousing, particularly with the upper class and the middle class, and there's some people are coming just to stop in and then go to their own respective festivities. There is a decent traffic. Maybe not everybody you invited comes, but a good many come, and some of them are passing by, but for the most part, it has a good showing. And people enjoy the food and the festivities and the investment that you put into respecting this part of the year and this faith. Especially considering it's not exactly something that you would have grown up with. The northern clans are aware of Iluvanya, but don't have as much sort of knowledge and reverence for the Pallid conflict that others may, since they were relatively isolated from it.
And I think that kind of shows in the way Fyrn's been going around carousing people as well. Like I feel like Balthor probably is taking a larger hand in bringing the holiday cheer to people, whereas Fyrn is kind of just still wearing his cold armor and is being respectful, but isn't really participating as much as you'd think he would, being the center of attention.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Balfour certainly would have a deeper understanding of these celebrations than you, and out of his sort of reverence for the accord that you've almost created with him of housing him in exchange for his protection and operation of certain things here.
And I didn't mention this before, but over the downtime, if Balfour wanted to start recruiting people to the Green Knights, like his own order, that would be completely fine with Fyrn. He could have his own section of the fort. They could stay there. I think Fyrn would be totally okay with having that separate entity.
Yeah, I think Balfour is taking things rather slow. Yeah, and I would say we don't need to roleplay it, but over the downtime, you would have learned that Balfour's kind of biding his time. He's waiting and is constantly talking, hopefully, about Umadori's return. Because if you remember, he came here to speak with her, to try to convince her to sort of restore her faith in the credence of the Green Knights. So he's really just as he was when he was watching your Septimus's farm, he's kind of happy just helping for now, and he's not exactly looking to actively recruit. As often, the Green Knights don't actively recruit. They watch for people who show great sign of value and interest in their credence. And Balfour would explain this to you, that they don't think that it's always something to be instilled into someone, but it's traits that people express that can then be focused towards the good works that the Green Knights want to accomplish. As you remember, they sort of have this pseudo faith in luck, and that the road brings you to those who need you. So he's not proselytizing as much as he's trying to interact with your recruits And in the fruition of those interactions, if something happens, something happens. In the same way he did with you guys. Like he never tried to recruit any of you, but he tried to instill the good work attitude into you as he spent time with you.
I will say that it is Septimus coming like to the party, like the dining event.
It's later in the evening, right? Or what time is your celebration?
I assume it would be dinner time, like somewhere.
Oh, then yeah.
Okay. So then we'll play out the afternoon, or I'll describe the afternoon, and then and then we can do maybe some role play at the dinner, and go from there. Because I want to get some of the afternoon rituals that Jacquette would be interacting with.
Sure.
So Jacquette, during the day, and like I don't know how much you would have spent in the Temple District in the previous downtimes. I imagine you would have been maybe staying in your own area way more.
Oh yeah.
So when whether it's this afternoon or a little earlier in the week, when you first visit the Temple District again, you are ushered back to your childhood in some way. As you would see these temporary tent structures being built with the purple hues and the deep indigos and all the sort of variations of blue and purple, pink, that is the traditions of Iluvanya. There's certainly a fusion here of the Elysian faith and the Farathris faith, which of course have different tones to them, although unified by the worship of Iluvanya and the moon, and her spirit and rebirth and protection and all of that. And you see a variety of people. You see the poor who would typically go to Septimus's temple might be spending time in this space, as the parishioners, the servants, the flock of Iluvanya giving out bread and food and all sorts of goods, blankets, everything that they can give away, they are giving away. And there's a mixture of Tabaxi, Leonin humans, and the small population of Elysian elves in Hyvin are all there. And as you're wandering these stalls, you would also see people peddling their goods, and all are welcome here. One of the unifying things of this festival are these lanterns all over the place that have that purple hue to them, that you would remember as the moon lanterns from all the celebrations when you were a kid, that they gather them throughout the entire week, where people can come and add to the collection their own lantern, that is either their own individual lantern or something from their family. So while there are the primary ones with the purple hues, there are also just like ones that are just decorated randomly. Like they have different colors to them. Some of them have, like, as best they could, dyed kind of like a scene on it, where you can maybe see like a very like simple one that was clearly made by a child that has kind of these stick figure color blots that are meant to be their family. All of them bearing some inscriptions in some places, or accoutrement attached to them, whether it's just sort of a cluster of bones and feather from a drow family, or a complex sort of tassel woven together with fine threads from a wealthier family. All of them have that sort of circular ball lantern with something attached to the bottom with some kind of meaning to the family or the individual. Some of them have little scrolls attached to them, little messages perhaps that they have written there for Iluvanya. And they just gather them all throughout the day and the week leading up to it. The day of rituals involve blessings, prayer, meditation, cleaning oneself and bathing in the pools within the temple itself, all leading up to a feast celebration that would end with the lantern ritual, which you are familiar with, where everyone gathers their lanterns and releases them into the sky to join with Iluvanya's moon as it reaches its actual zenith and is brightest.
Yeah, so I think Jacquet engages with all of this. He dresses down for the first time since he's come to the Alfdal Islands, very reminiscent of, his butler, not his mother or father, admonishing him, being like, Jacquet, you must wear your simple robes instead of your ostentations. We're going to celebrate. The family must look well in the eyes of Iluvanya. Jacquet's like, fuck off, man. I don't want to go, and if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go dressed like this. And then he goes that back and forth. But he would always end up having to go dressed down. And so he does that now. And he engages in it all, and he gets his own lantern. It's nothing special. But at the bottom of it, he's kind of thinking about what to offer. And he takes the necklace that he wears, the necklace from Lady Navira of seashells, and then is like, "That's too heavy. That's too heavy. It's not gonna float if we do that." So instead, he takes a scroll and just, in his nice handwriting, just goes, writes a little note to Iluvanya that says, and he's like looking around at like the people next to him, and no one is paying him like any attention. I imagine like this is the moment where Jacquet is just almost invisible, he's like, are you like looking to see what other people are writing, and he's like, oh, okay, fine. And he just writes out a little note, just
keep them safe. Keep them all safe. My old family and my new. If you even read this.
rolls it up, does a little wax seal on it. I imagine he has, from his forgery kit, his own little sealing kit, and when he sees no one else is doing that, he's like, he just snaps off the wax seal and then just ties it with a little string and goes, okay, and also releases it up. As he just watches it ascends and thinks about his family at home, his two siblings specifically who are very adherent to Iluvanya's faith, thinking if his mother's died of being a bad person yet in his mind, wondering if Matthias ever did send the Domu Gosu Trade Company to Stormbreakers, whatever became of fucking whatever his name was that came to take me
Ahmed.
back. Ahmed, yeah. Oh, I forget what Jacquet's nickname for him was.
Dubs.
Dubs, the boys, that's right, Dubs. Just wonders what happened to all of that, and then just feels very empty, as at least when he did this with his family, there's people around him and there's other people going through the motions, whereas here everyone seems much more adherent to it. Maybe after he might wander off into the temple district to go see how the other churches, specifically Septimus's, are doing in this time, as he's just dressed down.
So, as you do this, you send up your lantern, and as everyone else is sending up their lanterns, there is a shepherd there to sort of initiate this and speak a few words. If you ask anyone standing near you who this is, they'll tell you that it's Aldhalor, the shepherd of this sept. She's an Elysian woman, tall, otherworldly in that way that Elysians are, with their indigo skin, and she's long braided silver hair, with the orange eyes with the black sclera. She's dressed in traditional Elysian garb, the simple purples and grays and whites of the Shepherds of the Moon, with a very simple staff with a carved crescent moon at the end, a little small version of what Curon's staff was at one point. With silver jewelry all over her, and her ears pierced all the way to the tips, as is traditional. As all of these lanterns rise up, she with some of her other shepherds behind her, standing in the gardens of the circle, the garden filled with these hedges that are sort of shaped into likenesses of Iluvanya, mingled with some of the strange wildlife of Elysia. One that looks like a Balefane carved with a lantern where the mask would be. One that is a Velic stalker. You see one that is clearly meant to be Curon.
I know that guy.
As she would
In another life.
hold her hands out and just give the general blessing. On the zenith of Iluvanya, all who worship her, stop. Stop living in this contemporary, hasty life we all live in these new eras. To remember the gift given to us by her and her Twilight Shepherd 30 years ago. On this day, when countless died, so we all may live in a world with a bit more light and hopefully a bit more justice and safety. Usher your credences upon the Crescent Heart, celebrating her light, for a new dawn has come. But also to remember that that new dawn is not guaranteed, and we must be vigilant each day and each night. Twilight, protect us all. As she releases from her hand her own lantern.
And also with you.
And all these lanterns go up into the sky, and it's at this time, we'll get to Fyrn Celebration, but even over in Fyrn Celebration, you can see these lanterns go into the sky. And then there's like small pockets of lanterns that go up all around the city from individual worshippers who are not necessarily at the temple itself. The overwhelming pillar comes up from the temple. But it's this strange, peaceful moment where Hyvin looks unified. There's a unique pillar also coming up from Piscator's Row, where you imagine the Aradunai are holding their own celebration. but pocked all over are these lanterns that, as they rise up, coordinated time-wise with the zenith, essentially it's like as the sun is setting, the moon that makes up the eye of Iluvanya in the eclipse does not set with it, but stays in the sky and kind of grows larger until you're in the cool dusk of twilight, as the light just, the moon shines as bright as it can. That full moon of Iluvanya. And every lantern dissipates into dust, a sparkling dust that rains back down as the light of Iluvanya. As children run about, playing, grabbing at the starlight. Families embrace each other, feast, eat, pray, meditate, hoping a month from now the new dawn will come as it does every year, under the watchful protection of the Crescent Heart. Somewhere far off, Kiran is fastidiously performing his own ritual.
Hey,
Somewhere far off, Sarathol's running late to the festivities because he was in his study too long. And
I'm so sorry, Kira.
You're disowned. It doesn't matter.
So, Jacques, when you were to go out and look at the other festivities, there would be similar things. Every temple releases one lantern as an offering to the Church of Iluvanya, the Circle of the Moon. The only one that doesn't is, and it's not that they aren't respectful, is a church that a lot of you forget exists here because they don't really do much other than hold respectful time for others, which is those beyond, those before, which is the mausoleum temple for dead gods and lost gods, where you can see they just have a simple purple candle lit in the vestibule of their temple as their offering. There's a big ass lantern that comes out of the Noldori collective temple, just as they're like, we're all one, so one big lantern goes to the sky.
That's pretty cool.
Septimus, would your temple offer up a lantern?
They would.
Excellent.
It's
like
got
blue.
it's
like
like a
blue one.
dirigible.
A light blue one?
Yes.
It's a Da Vinci helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and each temple, they have their unique, the Everflame releases a red lantern that has kind of like a long chain of light tissue paper like fabrics that sort of look like fire coming off of it. The Revelry releases several lanterns that are of every color of the rainbow. And the kiln of the Kindred Mother is silent because nothing is there anymore.
Woof.
Hmm.
You hear that, Shannon?
But anyway, at this point, folks can meander over to Fyrn's celebration.
Yeah.
So,
So I imagine the gates are open and there's been some minor decorations put up on the outside, but most of the festivities and decorations are within. The gardens have been very well manicured for the night, and there's a large courtyard walking in where people are just enjoying the night air. Being at that, it's a little bit of a higher elevation. You can see some of the lanterns up in the sky from the temple district. So there's a lot of people, standing outside, just enjoying the grounds. You would be escorted, the training grounds would be empty. You'd be escorted over to the East Wing, where most of the festivities will take place. And everything's lavishly decorated, and it looks like Fyrn really pulled out all the stops for this small thing. But you could also tell that there's like a few goofy parts where like maybe they didn't have enough like Iluvanya purple, so like there's some off blue color things in sections, because Fyrn's like, they won't notice, like he doesn't understand the cultural significance, and he didn't really set up any lantern celebrations or anything like that because he wasn't aware really. But I would say that there's probably some lanterns and moons in the decorations. Yeah, and opening up into the public space, there's a few merchant stalls, but most of it's, the part that was open to the public is now closing down because, everybody is really returning into the dining hall, and most of the people who are here during the day have, other obligations. So, the meeting rooms are still open, and the only things really locked down are like the vault and the quarters where people rest. But yeah, you could go into the dining area. There's, like I said before, a small band, and everybody's just having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine a lot of folks wander over from the formal celebrations to stop by this to round out the evening. Would you all attend Fyrn's celebration on this night?
Yeah, we worked hard at it. Plus, like to see the fort all decked out.
Yeah. So Fyrn's fort is decked out, and you'll notice, like, if those of you who maybe have been locked away or haven't really come by here, Fyrn's fort is much bigger than it was when you first saw it. Like, Koboko has done the job, and like extended out beyond the lighthouse circle tower. And you'll see the lighthouse circle tower is still there, but now there is a proper a fort structure there, with a real actual wall around this whole area, not a makeshift one, with the little public square courthouse area that also has the training grounds and everything in Fyrn's diagram. So it is like a rather lovely or exciting opening of this fort.
The most impressive thing that is really used to pull people together, and it's probably the part that Fyrn wants to show off the most, which is the reason why he wanted to have a dinner party, is that dining area. It is very Fyrn put a lot of effort to make it as traditionally northern as possible. So it feels like you're in a longhouse, even though it's in a big stone building. Massive wooden tables that go all the way down the length of it, carpets and banners hanging from the walls, with different pieces of trophies that he's collected throughout his adventures and things like that. And a nice big kitchen and serving stations and lots of fun things.
Yeah, so it's a proper celebration. It's honestly, it is a feast, a real proper feast. And there's plenty of people there that are, from around town, that are stopping in. A lot of, you could see Morris Pappas is there. Got a little tip maybe from Jacquette that there was going to be this fort opening. And you can see there's other folks from the academy have stopped by. There are Audubon is there, as he was at one of the expos earlier in the day. So ton of people in and out, various different NPCs that you'd recognize.
Leading over to Jacquette. Fyrn, you organize this?
Yeah, I had nothing to do with this. He's really taking this whole fort thing to the next level, it seems.
Yeah.
I had assumed they catch Fyrn's eye and he breaks off from the people he was talking to welcome his friends.
Yeah. I would also say, for the sake of it being a slight reveal, Septimus joins you guys at the same time, and you would all notice that his jaw is entirely replaced with mechanical ferrofluid and augmentations.
Oh, hey.
Hello, Bruce. I see you noticed the new change that I've made to myself.
It's hard not to, gonna be honest.
Well, you might find this interesting, though. It's actually useful. I'm able to breathe underwater now.
Oh. Okay, it's
Oh,
not
yes.
just for like chewing harder material.
No.
Or like making your voice sound a little scarier. Can you just breathe heavily for me for a little bit?
It's not coming through.
Oh, God.
But yes, what have all of you been up to? It's been such a while since we've caught up. It's the perfect thing to kind of unwind and catch up with each other.
Yeah, thank you for putting this together, Fyrn. Very impressed with, I was just telling Jacquette, very impressed with how you organized this. This is...
Yes, it's definitely better than the derelict scrap heap that we was first introduced to us. when we took it from-
it cost a lot of time and silver, but we got there. It's a big thanks to your friends at Koboko that, made this all possible, as well as, the good people of Hyvin aiding me where they could.
Impressive work, right?
Yeah, this party's really to celebrate them.
Well, good. Thank you for putting this on for them.
Well, yeah, the kitchen's this way. There's wine, mead, your choice. Plenty of food. I saved some seats for you near the stage over there, where I'm
Oh,
sitting.
by the stage, okay. Okay.
Yeah, wherever you like, I suppose.
Is there anybody else notable that we know coming tonight?
I invited half the town. It's really hard to say who's coming. I believe the adventurers are here. A few I saw a few deans, Audubon, the news network. Maybe perhaps the Wild Flame.
Yeah, the Wild Flame would definitely be there.
I think there's a lot of parties going on tonight, but I did my best to recruit, and it looks like we have some good numbers. Is there somebody you were looking for?
No, just curious. Wondering if, making sure we don't run into any trouble tonight.
I have a good amount of capable guards keeping an eye on things. In fact, if you'd like, I could show you a little bit of a tour of some of the areas where the public isn't, doesn't have access to right now, if you'd like.
Oh, the private VIP tour. Say no more.
So,
Sure.
Fyrn would take a quick walk around like this area of the grounds. Show Jaquette the bathhouse, and then the quarters and the vault, and then eventually move over to the lighthouse section that's locked off from the public now, and basically just show that it's more quarters. Generally, it looks like it's a base that's set up just for us. There's enough rooms for just the members of the party. There's one large meeting room that has like a map of Hyvin in it, and the lighthouse tower seems to be where Fyrn would sleep. Like the base of the lighthouse tower would be where Fyrn would sleep. And while you're like looking off, he kind of like lets everybody go off. He kind of pulls Septimus to the side for a second and says, "Septimus, could you follow me for a second? I want to show you something."
Look a little curious, so sure, of course, Fyrn.
Fyrn's gonna quickly pull aside a it looks like a secret door, and he opens it up quickly and like beckons him in and like closes it behind him, and then leads Septimus down a few flights of stairs into the basement. And deep below, maybe like it's a long set of stairs, but it's not like insanely long, maybe like 2 flights. You would see what looks to be like a prison. It's like a stone outcropping that leads to like 4 separate cells, and then one like locked door that opens up into that section. So like, if somebody broke out of like one cell, there would be another locked door before they can escape, sort of thing. And within, you see a small cabinet that Fyrn quickly like shuffles through and pulls out a document that looks like it has some infernal writing on it that you might have remembered from our adventures.
Is this? Go ahead.
I've been working on a lot of things, but one thing that's been on my mind lately is this document we found. I was finally able to decipher it, and I figure I wanted to tell you first because I believe that you, despite your strange god, are an honest man and wouldn't use this power unless it was absolutely necessary.
This is the note that we found when we saved that young girl from those cultists that were off the side of the road coming back to Hyvin from my farmstead, correct?
That was this book here, which also plays into it.
Where was the letter from again?
Honestly,
Or that
The
document?
lockbox.
the lockbox, yes.
That's
the
right.
lockbox.
Yes, thank you for refreshing my memory. You were able to decipher this?
Yes.
And what were your insights?
It speaks of the name of a seneschal of hell, the seneschal of grace, specifically. This powerful entity, it shows ways of summoning them and questioning them, and having their name gives me some power over their actions, but it is not guaranteed. The spells of this book can bind entity to our plane, but I'm not sure something as powerful as the Seneschal would even be susceptible to this. It would be a risk, but if there was any place to do it, I figured this prison that I've established would be a safe place for us to use it if necessary.
I was curious to what the extent of these bars were for. You finally decided that you were going to lock me up. But seriously, this devil business is quite serious, quite intriguing. You said you know the entity's name. Its true name?
That is what is said in this document.
Interesting.
Anyway, I don't want the others to start asking questions. I suppose we should get back to the party.
Of course.
Hey, what's going on over there?
Thank you for telling me, Fyrn. I will take some time to think about this and possibly use for our best benefit.
Yeah, Fyrn would lock up everything behind him and, lead him back into the group area and try and act like nothing really happened.
And just
Yeah.
to clarify, you speaking, or you be able to contact this seneschal, or are you summoning him?
So I can summon them to question them,
Yes.
and I have a small sway over their actions because I know their name. But
Yeah,
How long?
Yeah, basically, I haven't given him the formal thing for it, but yeah, he can summon them for questioning, and he has like essentially they're almost semi-charmed by him, so that he can has slight
Semi-charmed
influence,
kind of life.
and also like advantage on like persuasion rolls, things like that. It's not a zone of truth situation. Like the devil can still be tricky, but it is a temporary binding for a moment with a cooldown, basically. Where you can question and even coerce.
For how long?
An hour.
And the other book that I have is a planar binding spell that we also have not gotten many details about. But
Yeah.
seems to be specifically for devils.
It is. There's rituals in there that detail basically the ritual you saw happening to bind a devil to the material plane so that they do not have to go back to the hells. A very risky thing that is filled with nasty things it requires, such as blood, sacrifice. As you remember, saving
And
a girl
new
from
card.
being one of those sacrifices and blood to do so.
Or the will and might of Almighty Machina?
Perhaps. But I will say, like, there is an ominous energy when Fyrn does bring these things out. Like, despite it being just like a piece of paper with infernal script, like the room feels like it darkens. Your voices sound like they echo even more than they would in these dungeons. And then once it's away, it's all returns. The fires grow brighter. It's much more relaxed.
Okay.
But when you all return to the feasting hall, the band is uproarious. Balfour is kind of hosting in Fyrn's absence, and has been kind of pseudo like not concierge, but like seneschal of this
Master of ceremonies.
master of ceremonies. Thank you.
Maitre d'.
all those things rolled into one. There's a lot of people here. You see people from the university, you see people from all around. You don't see the people that you'd be expecting trouble from. No De Leon brothers here. None of the staff of the Otter business or anything like that. But Septimus, you would notice somebody eyeing you from across the room. And not just you, but also like Bruce, occasionally you would notice this person too. You would recognize this person as Coriolis Firma. He is a faculty member from the university. And Septimus, you remember having a conversation with him about your augmentations.
Coriolis went? Or is that a different person?
That's a different person. It's Coriolis Firma, and then you're thinking of Orent.
Sebastian.
Or Sebastian went, and then, Sebastian went who you're thinking of.
Alright, yeah, I didn't put a comma, so I thought it was one person, but apparently it's two.
No, you don't have to do anything about it, but he is just sort of eyeing you from across the room. Yeah, Sebastian Wendt is the professor of Biologica who was working with Dilvana, or knew some things about Dilvana. Coriolis was the one who came up to Septimus and Bruce at the end of the party while you guys were all dancing to ask about Septimus's augmentations.
Mm-hmm.
But someone who's keeping a keen eye on you. And if you don't do anything or return that, he would eventually look away from you.
I'll let that marinate for a second.
Okay. Since you're letting it marinate, he actually would go up to Bruce at a certain point. And while you guys are, I imagine at this point, you guys are just like grabbing drinks, eating, enjoying things. And Bruce, you might even be like sitting down to like just enjoy a little food and drink, and you've been working hard.
A little lone time in the corner, just like having a little plate.
Yeah.
Shrimp.
A lot of shrimp. Yeah. A lot of shrimp cocktail. As you would see Coriolis approaching you. And you remember he's a fairly plain-looking man who has professor's dress robes with a suit underneath, just a necktie, not a necktie, but like a neck scarf, all like black. And he has short cropped hair that's a little messy in the sense that he looks as if he literally every morning just like takes a knife to his hair, and just keeps it like as short as possible without being a buzz cut. Very like Caesar-like hairstyle. He's probably in his 40s, human. But he does come up to you and he just gives you like a slight nod and bow as he says, "I've been seeing your presence at the university, at the academy, utilizing the artificing facilities quite frequently lately.
I have.
Mr. Rebellin."
Good to see you, Coriolis.
Yes.
What brings you here specifically? Were you invited, or you just?
Well, a stack of invitations just sort of arrived at the academy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I would have come if there was free food in the area.
Well, in truth, I was much more interested in running into Iron and Mana.
Oh. Do you have anything that you would request specifically of them, or to inform us?
I'm mostly curious about your friend's developments. And he kind of gestures his eyes over to Septimus.
Oh, Septimus. Yeah. What about it?
Rather aggressive in his augmentations since I last saw you all.
Yeah, his he keeps kind of needing it. His body's not holding as well together, so we keep trying to find a way around it. That's all.
I've heard word of his church.
I can't really speak for his church. I haven't really been before, but it does exist.
Bruce, Mr.
What do you
Rebellion.
sound like you're concerned about something? What are your thoughts?
When I first spoke with you all, I had interest in understanding the means of his augmentations. When, correct me if I am wrong, but they seem to be of his own machinations, his own artificing, that he augmented himself. This looks different.
It looks different. How so?
And he sort of gestures with his hands. He brings one hand up and he goes, raw artificing. Sleek. Elegant. Simulacrum, even. Of flesh. Gesturing and generally referring to the arm that you guys built together and his arm that is made of ferrofluid augmentations. These are strange. Different.
They are strange and different. I've got no major concerns with it. I mean, he seems to be doing well with it. He's kind of using his own body for experiments. I don't see any issue. It's of his own doing. He's not instilling this research on anyone else, and I deem that acceptable.
Well, that is comforting.
I do worry for his own safety, but he seems to be doing fine. So I would don't worry about it. I'll have a close eye on him, and if I have any concerns, I can let you know.
I would appreciate that.
And just out of curiosity, why are you so concerned?
At the university, I'm somewhat of a maverick of studies. I don't belong to an individual college, though I started there in the Celestial Mechanics Division department. I've dabbled in the Artificing College and Biologica and to understand more and more and to interact with more of my peers. And I suppose this is all coming from originating from curiosity and academic interest. But in a matter of very little time, he has gone beyond any augmentations I've ever seen. I mean, hell's Bronin, an expert of the prosthesis, is nowhere near as augmented as him.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It is very intriguing. I'm not too sure all of his methods, but even though I sit next to him most days, yeah, I still don't know how he was able to perform these augmentations so quickly.
Well, Mr. Rebellion, if you have concerns that arise, I would be interested in speaking further about it if things progress in negative ways, but I'm also of an interest in knowing the man as well, though he seems... I'm sorry, I came up to you because you are a man of reason, naturalism, work. I get ahead of myself.
I appreciate the positive confidence. Anyway, I recommend you actually go speak to him. You can always come back to me with your thoughts, but assess yourself. Get the answers that you need directly from him. Because I currently don't have them, but...
And like Coriolis, he looks like a he when you first met him, he was really like he was a little off-putting because like he does speak in kind of circles and he is a little like at times spacey with his thoughts, but he also has a very harsh face, like very like mean almost. He is more wrinkled than he should be for a man in his early 40s, and he's got these really cold gray eyes with this salt and pepper Caesar haircut. He just looks like a mean teacher, even though he's not. There's nothing indicating he's probably mean, but he looks at you, and like it's very like blank face. That's just sort of like, oh. Almost like you saying, just go talk to him. He was like, oh, I guess I can do that.
Yeah. He's fine. He's not going to bite, But, if you have any concerns after speaking with him, you can always come find me.
Well, perhaps I'll just express my curiosity again, as I did that night. I'll leave you to your shrimps, Mr. Rebellin.
Thank you. And good luck. I love.
And he gives you another sort of polite nod of the head as he goes over to you. He actually does find you, Septimus, wherever you'd be, relaxing or hanging out with your food and drink. And as he approaches, he would start with, I apologize if you caught me staring earlier.
No need to apologize at all. Please, have a seat. I realize that my appearance of late draws many eyes, as well as my actions throughout the city.
Yes, Mr. Evergreen.
Please, you can call me Septimus.
Septimus. As we met at the retirement celebration, and I had expressed interest in your augmentations or understanding them.
I recall. I apologize for not getting back to you sooner. Business on our end had come up, and we were away from Hyvin longer than I thought.
My research at the university, the academy, toes the lines between celestial mechanics, artificing, and biologica. Something that, from my understanding of your situation and endeavors, is almost a perfect unity of what's been happening. Biologica, celestially, and artificing.
That is essentially the case. As I've expressed to my compatriots of late, and the many followers who have come to my church, that the fusion of anima and alma is a delicate balance. But trying to find that path is what brings us to these higher forms.
Interesting. Of course, there is no pressures from the academy, and this is more of a private interest and academically, but the research I've read about says almost the exact opposite. The augmentation of the body too harshly with machina, as you call it, leads to degradation of the alma.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
This research comes from Halcyon, where the ether dens of the original Machina's Whisper have been studied to show a psychotic condition.
Say I'm not too familiar with those sex. But from what I can gather, it is perhaps that those willing or attempting to augment themselves, I did so in a domineering way as opposed to harmonizing. And the effects on the body in such a capacity are what break the spirit. You need to have a symbiosis between the material and the being itself. It's not the being controlling the material, it is both working in conjunction.
A balance, I suppose. I don't want to disturb your evening with too much technical talk, but if you're interested in discussing further or...
And he kind of stands up straight and looks awkward.
Testing your hypothesis, I would be willing to work with you.
Well, I'd be a fool and a hypocrite if I were to deny the teachings of others and to enlighten those that seek such information. So, I would be happy to share.
I have some colleagues who have done minor researches into these things, but we can perhaps put together a test for you, Septimus. Let's call it a measure of your alma.
And what did you have in mind for this test?
I am curious of the hypothesis you propose of symbiosis and enrichment, enlightenment, versus the degradation of the soul evident in the ether dens of Halcyon, and the psychosis that results. The loss of Alma, or as you say, the enrichment of it.
I meant as far as how do you propose that we test your hypothesis?
That is what I have to work on with my colleagues. But I'm always interested in a testament of your experience.
Well, kind of lifting up to his ferrofluid arm. This essentially was gifted to me. I mean, I provided the material, I provided the incantations, but the rest was Machina that blessed me and provided me with such things. Maybe it was the favor of uncorrupting a staff or unlocking its true potential that I received such a gift.
And
I can speak for this.
I hear on the streets that your church is getting onto its feet and is providing for the impoverished of the city of the lower city.
Oh, well, of course. For us to truly better ourselves and become enlightened and evolve, all the harm and suffering that we experience from hunger, it blinds us and keeps us down and distraughted. So, what better place to start than to uplift those that have fallen on bad luck or need a little bit of support. For every person has a great mind or a great spirit that they can find a purpose with. They just need the right nourishment.
Ah. Fascinating. Well, the invitation is always open, Septimus. If you wish to stop by my offices at the Academy, just let them know ahead of time if you're coming.
I may take you up on that. as well as an invitation for you to ever come to my church, feeling you're so inclined or comfortable, to hear some more of what I have to say to my parishioners.
Have a lovely evening, Mr. Evergreen.
To you as well. And see you soon.
He nods and steps away. And awkwardly stands around for a little bit before leaving entirely.
As he steps away, Septimus comes by, Jacques comes by Septimus and goes,
Was that one of Herzog?
Yes, it was.
I'd like to
Really good
see the
accent.
baby.
Well done.
I'd
well
like
done.
to see the machina.
But yes, you Coriolis has been keeping his ear to the ground of your developments in the city after having that curiosity originally. And he is sort of a strange member of the academy. He doesn't have a college that is his home. He just sort of is there, which is discouraged usually. As Bruce, you would understand spending more time there, that they really, really emphasize expertise and having a area and not being dabbling all over the place. They view it as distracting and not conducive towards development. But as he walks out the door, only a few moments later, Jacques, as you were with Septimus there, you would notice, I mean, I know that was a joke, but you would notice Coriolis step out, and very quickly afterwards, Kellen would actually step in. And he's, the green dragonborn in his usual sort of formal suit that he has, that he wears basically all the time. But he would kind of be observing the whole event before kind of going directly to you, Jacques. As you notice him come up, and he grabs a drink off of one of the drink stations and comes over to you, Jacques, as you're relaxing with some food, I imagine. Jacques, I thought I might find you here.
Kellen, my friend, Morris is already here covering this. I don't think there'll be any underworldly activities here. Very on the surface, what you see is what you get.
Yes. Well, I came here because I had just left the auto business.
"Oh,
And I thought at the very least it would be informative to let you know that it was quite a rousing event. Mr. Greaves spoke quite passionately about the reforms he hopes to bring, let's just say I came to let you know that you have garnered attention from him, as I imagine was your goal with your editorials.
I mean, whoever decides to pay attention to the mere writings of Jacques Touchard is up to them. But yeah, I was hoping to poke him in the side a little.
Well, there seems to be some brewing foment and anger amongst those who are most impassionate about his election. And I suppose what I'm getting at is that there's more of a powder keg than there was before. And I don't know if and he kind of is looking around as he's saying this and starts to say it in more hushed tones. I don't know if the gates of the Admiralty Court can hold back a mob. I'm not saying this is happening tonight, but the new year is soon, and we both know he wants to be Commodore before that.
He's been pushing it hard. Do people really rise up beneath his banner?
The city doesn't need to rise up. Just enough. I just thought you'd be the first person who'd like to know.
I appreciate it, Kellen, I do. Thank you. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how best to react to this news. But no, I'll take it seriously. Figure something out. Because the last thing the city needs is more violence at the start, or even before the new year.
Well, I've spent long enough in this city to understand that it is in the new year that violence can blossom. Heat. People are mingling more. With all the factions here. Who knows what will actually happen? I don't know if people would actually mob the Admiralty Court, but he might more aggressively speak out. He's probably going to leave the Widow's Ward more. Hills, you might even see him. He might even come to you.
Be sure to have quiver of words ready.
A question I've pondered the last 2 weeks, working with you. Do you believe that it is him?
If there's one thing I learned when I first came to the city, it's that anyone and everyone could be this Mr. Greaves. I believe that this figure parading in the mask of Greaves, for all intents and purposes, is the individual. But should he lose? Should he disappear? Should he be killed? Jacquet, letting that killed kind of hang a moment. I feel another will just rise in his place. And when I finally meet him, I think I'll know. Don't ask how. I just think I will.
Well, I'll keep you updated. In
Appreciate
July.
it. Of course.
And I guess did I do any gathering? Yeah, Jacquet will just kind of like be like, "Oh, I haven't really learned much, since last we spoke. About like the alumno defiance and stuff.
Mhm.
Just being like, yeah, they're not messing with anyone, but we knew that, so."
Well, enjoy the festivities.
May her light protect.
He finishes his drink and walks away and leaves.
I was really liking the peace and quiet.
He kind of says to no one in particular.
Mhm. And the festivities continue through the night. At a certain point, Balfour would give a bit of a pseudo blessing, or more of like a short speech where he would just talk about coming together as a community. I'd like to... Oh my god, I can't get the Balfour voice. I'd like to... got a mental block right now. Fyrn. I'd like to thank Fyrn for bringing all of us together tonight. Whether you're from off these shores like him, or of rock and fire and the Maison, ice and storm of the Gosu haunt, which if you have not heard, these amazing folk have freed from the horrors there. Grain and spirit local from the soil here, shell and sand far into those shallow waters, or cloud and silver from the capital lands. Beautiful evening to come together to celebrate the coming dawn, iron and manna, and hopefully a bright future for Hyvin, despite the hard times I've heard about here, where we can all make friends of each other and not enemies, and lay our weapons down. Tonight we are all friends. So drink, eat, feast. Twilight protects, but more importantly, we protect each other.
Well said, Balfour.
There are cheers amongst the audience, and drinking to be had in this fine Zenith evening. The celebrations come to a close. In the week that comes afterwards, the lanterns stay up here and there. Some people, like the people who keep their Christmas tree up into January, are keeping their lanterns out. But the city returns to its usual state. As you all begin the second week of this downtime, Bruce, you can begin doing your research. Septimus, your water therapy. Jacquette continues with his articles. And Fyrn, you can work through that second week, cleaning up and beginning true, proper workings of the fort.
I also want to say that within that week, I would change the training curriculum to heavy armor.
Heavy armor?
For my own plan. Yeah.
Perfect. And I think we will end there for tonight and pick up next week with catching up on Bruce's research and bringing us truly fully back into the real-time adventure again. With a few different prompts here for you all, hopefully, for things to explore. Whether it's Mr. Greaves, the Academy, the Aradunai, and whatever else comes in the week after downtime is all done. But we are now officially will be in the Shining Shadow, which means each day will be more and more warm and lightful, and soon the new dawn will come in a new year for Aradun. Alrighty, folks, thanks for hanging out with us. That's it for tonight. We'll jump back in next week for some fun adventures. Hopefully getting into some interesting new territory as we get into the next steps for Iron and Mana. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a lovely time wherever you are in the world. Bye.